So I just got back from a volleyball game. Volleyball season is started again. And this is probably the second weekend or so, second, third weekend. I've seen a lot of volleyball games so far. I made a video earlier today, but it ended up that my microphone on the computer was staticky, wasn't working well. So I decided it's kind of a decent day out. I'd go ahead and dust off the USB mic on my phone and come out here and make a video. So that's why I'm a little bit different place today. But at the volleyball game, I was impressed by how the girls played. I was impressed by how they're getting better, the skills that they've acquired over these years, and how they're putting them into, practice and actually put them into production, if you will, in the games themselves, and doing really well how they're playing. And it made me think about, as an entrepreneur, of having different skills that you learn over time, because you don't necessarily know all the skills that you need when you go and you start your own business, right? You come out to be an entrepreneur and you're like, well, I don't know everything I need to know. Obviously, you do some work, you try to figure some things out, but really you can't know until you get into the game. And the skills that you need are not super obvious right away. But as you start playing the game of business, you start realizing, oh, yeah, I need to understand finances, right? At least to a certain degree. I need to understand whatever it is I'm delivering. So my service, I need to make sure I'm proficient, on that. If I'm a freelancer providing some sort of a service or a service-based business owner doing that. You may determine that, oh, you know what? I'm selling product. And so I need to figure out how to source product, or I need to invent a product. Like, there's all these different skills, depending on what kind of business you're in, that you need. And when I was seeing the girls play volleyball, and I was seeing them, you got the whole, people setting, hitting, blocking, being on the receiving side of passing, so as soon as, ball comes over, getting underneath it and pass it. So all these individual people have skill sets, and some have taken a couple of different skill sets and have tweaked them and done well. So whether, you're really good at serves and good at hits and good at blocks, right? So now, you become a really good player when you can do all three of those things, right? So if you're a really good server and you can place the ball, well, that's a great skill. If you can get up at the net and block, that's a fantastic skill. If you're able to be set and sit there and spike the ball or hit the ball, I guess is what they call it these days. Back when I was growing up, we called it spiking the ball, but whatever. Then that's a great skill. You do all three, well, now you're a pretty solid player, right? And then it's kind of like us. If you can actually set the ball, but you can also, hit the ball, or you can receive the ball. Like, all these different skill sets you need to play volleyball. And even if you just have one skill, like you can be in the game, you can do good. But if you have multiple skills, that's where you can really, shine and be a great, great asset to the team. Well, it's the same way in business. So in business, if you're going to be a great entrepreneur, then you need more than one skill set. And a lot of freelancers get started with the single skill set of whatever service they're providing. So whether it's a graphic designer, they're great at graphic design, so they go out to business to do graphic design. A programmer creates great software, and they go and create a business to create software for people. So whatever the actual service that you provide, you have you already have that type of skill set, most likely, if you're a freelancer. But then you get in and you're like, oh, well, I need to make sure that cash is coming in. So I need to do some sort of sales. I need to get in front of people, or maybe some marketing. I need to do different things in order to get money coming in the door. I need to talk to different people to do that, right? So that's kind of a skill set that you build up. And then maybe you go to the point where you actually need help delivering the stuff, because you got really good at sales, really good at marketing. You have a bunch of people coming to you, but now you can't keep up the demand. And so you need to bring on contractors or whatever. And so now there's a skill set, there. So in business, when you have multiple skills, they're not like additive. They're more, they kind of grow in exponential, because you get to this point where it's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It's more like 1 + 1 = 5. And depending on what you're working on, and what you have spent your time learning, you can take things that wouldn't necessarily you would think would go together and have a great idea to create something brand new that the market wasn't even expecting, right? So if I just want this to be an encouragement that if you are at a place where you feel things are not clicking the way that you want them to click, but you've been putting in work and you've been gaining skills, you might be able to just take a step back and determine the skills that you have, which skills could go together to get you these exponential results so that you can go further in your business than you could by just focusing on the skills individually. Yeah, so that's really what I'm talking about, was just the skill stacking and being encouragement that, hey, look, all work works, just like Myron Golden says. And so if you've gone down this path of running your business and trying to grow, and you've focused on skill A, and then later on you focus on skill B and skill C, they're not necessarily for nothing, right? Even if you kind of go in different directions. I've definitely built a bunch of half-built bridges in my entrepreneurial journey, and that's not an ideal thing, right? So ideally, you focus on one path and you just keep building, brick after brick on that path, and you get a fully built bridge instead of 100 bridges that are only a foot long, right? So it's much better to have one long bridge a mile across, and you actually get to your destination, than 100 bridges that or only whatever, a hundredth of a mile each. So, but if that has occurred to you, as it has me, of following all the rabbits, then the skills that you picked up along the way can be combined in such a way that it can serve the market in ways that other people can't, because they don't have that combined skill set. So that's something that Steve Jobs did well, was taking different pieces of his life and skills that he had and brought them together in order to create the company Apple into what it was. So and even just the iPhone itself, right? So there's the whole thing. We have a phone, and you have a browser, and you have a music player. And you put those three together, and all of a sudden it's kind of greater than the sum of its parts. And yeah, so in business, it can be the same way. You personally, the key is to continually level up, to continually build out your skill set in whatever it is that you're pursuing. So skill stacking is real, and it can be really beneficial. So if you're feeling discouraged at all because you felt you're not quite as far along as you wish you were, then just take a step back and think about all the different skills that you have and what you can actually create based off all those skills together. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If so, then chances are you'll like the next one that YouTube is suggesting to you. So I'll see you in the next video.